Direction is correct from fetus into this, but the model has incorrect colors. These two small ones should be deoxygenated or mixed at the least. And they come into placenta. In placenta, these arteries divide into placental arterioles, which then divide into capillaries with mixed blood but carbon dioxide, that is deoxygenated blood. And these capillaries are surrounded by blood-filled sinusoid, maternal blood-filled spaces. Exchange of gases happens, blood picks up oxygen, removes carbon dioxide. Now these capillaries, the oxygenated blood-carrying capillaries, merge and they make venules. What kind of blood would the venules have? Oxygenated, freshly oxygenated, right? There's no question about it if you've been following me along. So venules have now freshly oxygenated blood, and these venules merge. When venule merge, what forms? What would form? Any place when venules merge?
Capillaries? No.
Capillaries merge to make venules. So when venules merge, vein will form. Same thing is happening here. So freshly oxygenated blood-carrying venules now merge. All of them merge and make one single large blood vessel called umbilical vein. What kind of blood is in umbilical vein? Oxygenated. Do you see the problem with the model then? The colors are incorrect. Direction is good. This umbilical vein forms in placenta and then runs through the umbilical cord, reaches fetus's umbilicus, enters the abdominal cavity of the fetus. Upon entering the abdominal cavity of fetus, it divides into a branch that enters the liver. Most of the blood that has come back in the fetus's body is prevented from going into the liver by a bypass called ductus venosus. What kind of blood is in ductus venosus?
Deoxygenated.
Why would that suddenly become deoxygenated if oxygenated came in? When did it become deoxygenated? Ductus venosus is a branch of what? It's a branch of umbilical vein that just arrived in fetus's body with oxygen. And a small branch from umbilical vein goes in the liver. Most of the blood goes into ductus venosus, which is the major branch of umbilical vein that has just come in the body with oxygenated blood. Ductus venosus then merges with inferior vena cava, and then this blood goes in the right atrium of the fetus. In the fetus, there are structures that you did not have in your own circulation when you studied it in the first couple of weeks. For example, we saw in the model of the heart that there is a depression at interatrial septum called
Coronary ovalis.
Depression. What is the term for a depression? Fossa ovalis. Good. Fossa ovalis is what you saw. But in the fetus, instead of fossa, there is an opening called?
I don't remember.
Opening foramen ovale. Foramen ovale in the fetus turns into fossa ovalis. Yes.
That's in the right, it's in the right atrium, right?
In the fetal circulation, what you see there is an opening that is foramen ovale. Whereas after birth that gets plugged and the wall is complete. Otherwise in the fetus there is a perforation, there is an opening foramen ovale. Also when you studied your own circulation, you saw that between aortas, aortic arch and pulmonary trunk there is a band of connective tissue called ligament-like structure called
Ligamentum
arteriosum. In the fetus, that's not a ligament, it's a blood vessel that connects pulmonary trunk to aorta so that blood cannot go into the lungs because fetus have no functional lungs. They are collapsed and fetus is floating around in waters. which is amniotic fluid. It's not exposed to the air, so lungs are not needed, not functional. So blood is prevented from going into pulmonary circulation by the interconnection from pulmonary trunk to aorta. That interconnection is called ductus arteriosus, which later becomes ligamentum arteriosum. So fetal circulation is being included with such details. Also, in your circulation, you did not see umbilical arteries branch out from internal iliac artery. In fetus, that's what happens. Did not see umbilical cord. Here we have umbilical cord. Umbilical cord has 3 blood vessels running through it. 2 from fetus to the mother's side, 1 from maternal side to the fetus. And what comes back from mother to the fetus is oxygenated blood. So umbilical arteries are carrying mixed deoxygenated blood, and umbilical vein is bringing back oxygenated blood. When you studied your own circulation, you did not see ductus venosus, which is a bypass to the liver. And in fetus, ductus venosus is present with oxygenated blood. So there are lots of differences. Make sure you are able to make that distinction. And you'll be able to do that only if you remember cardiovascular system as you studied it before.
You said the umbilical vein is oxygenated.
Yes, that's correct.